Hello, ladies and gents. Hello, guys. I am back. God, it's been a while since I actually made a video. Mostly because I was busy with assessment and graduating, and I'm soon going into college. Anyway, so hello, guys. Welcome back, and today we're gonna be talking about Hollow Heart. So yeah, let us begin, shall we? So we currently see our boy Izu now getting ready to go into battle. More specifically to take down some unfortunate Stern Ritter that survived during the time of the Thousand Year Blood War. We currently see our boy Izuku, or Izu in this case, because that is going to be his new name now, considering that he sort of remembers his past, or at least somewhat. He only knows his name. So, as Izu gets ready his Sanpokto, specifically known as his Sanpokto El Diablo. After getting ready, he would start getting ready to leave with the rest of the other Espada, or Neo Espada. As the Neo Espada, one of them specifically let me just check the actual name. The Noveno Espada, or the Ninth Espada, would say this. I'm not going to be giving them actual names because they're not going to be relevant at all. As one of them would say this. So, you finally arrived. As one of them would say this, specifically the Octava Espada, aka the 8th Espada. Oh, I can't believe you finally arrived. Our great and powerful leader, the Ceros Espada, has finally graced us with his presence. You would say with a somewhat obnoxious tone, to say the least. As when Izu heard that, he would say, "Can you just shut up?" He would say with a cold tone. As one of the Espada, specifically the Septima Espada, which was a girl, as she would say this. "Come on, let's go. We wouldn't want Mr. Fancy Pants over there getting angry." As when Izu heard that, he would look at her as he would say this. "Do not speak to me like that. And you do not have any authority towards me. I only serve under his excellency. Nothing more and nothing less. Now, let's go," he would say. After saying that, all of the Espada members would start leaving. When they arrived at the Menos forest, they would see a few members of the wait for a second. A few members of, we want to call them the remains of the original, Stern Ritter. As one of the notable people there, specifically one that you might recognize. The woman that was revealed was Candace Catnip. Yes, I'm gonna be adding in a few Stern Ritter. Actually, not really a few, but just one, being her. And you're probably gonna guess why. Oh no. So, as she was the only, not really only, but more like one of the few Stern Ritter that actually sort of survived during the time of the Thousand Year Blood War arc. The only few that were still alive are, I believe, was, what's his name? Basby. Let me just check again. Which are Basby, Jugrum, Lil Toto, and I think, kind of to me, or I believe is Bitch, as in, what do you mean by Bitch? Well, you can probably guess who it is, because her letter, or at least his designation, is the Stern Ritter Z. I'm not saying his name ever, but I just hate him. Anyway, And I think probably also someone survived was um um not Parnita. No, I think her name was, yes, Meninas McCown. And the reason why I think that Meninas did survive is because probably because of the idea of her somewhat surviving during the fight between. I didn't see this in the anime, but I'm just gonna say it right now that she probably survived the fight between, her and Ichigo. And instead of dying during the whole, Ashvolin, I can't remember the actual technique that, that Yuhabak actually used in the anime or in the manga to basically get all of the powers back from the other Sternritter that are not a part of the Schutzstaffel. So I think she also survived similarly to Meninas. Not Meninas, I meant the little Toto and Bitch. Yeah. So after they step foot on the, you know, on the, Menos Forest, some of the surviving Sternritter, which are mostly just soldads, would basically walk around as they would say, Mistress, Mistress Candace, why are we here? As Candace would say this, well, I've been wanting to get my payback on one of those Arankar. The one that ruined my hair, she would say. I think his name was, I think he was a part of the Neo Espada. I think she's a part of the, or at least a part of the designation of the second Espada, I think. Honestly, I don't care. Just as long as I get her, as before she can say anything else, a blast of a Sarah would basically burst through the Menos Forest, destroying a part of it and killing some soldats. Doing so, she would dodge it away as one of the Sternritter there specifically, as Jugrim would appear, as he would say this. It seems, Candace, that you got your wish. Very well then. I'll be taking up the rear guard. And as for you, take care of the others. Take care of some of the numeros. And in case that the fraction of these Spada come, make sure to protect the other Sternritter. After all, we are the last of the Quincy race. We are purebloods. So protect us soldats! After saying that, he would get ready his rune shield, which, if I remember correctly, absorbs all damage from the enemy and redirects it, because I believe his, what is that called? Yeah, his shrift is the balance, which allows him to basically make the scales of battle much more even. Essentially, he can basically turn the tides of battle by balancing the scales of luck. Like, for example, let's just say if your enemy has some good luck on his side and he's winning most of the battles, he can just reverse that and make it equal, and then redirect it and making him have bad luck. So it's essentially like, I guess you could say a mix of Clover and Crow's semblances from Ruby in a way. Anyway, continuing on. As when the battle started, he would currently see the Saros Espadas, aka Izu, as he would look through the battlefield. As when the battle began, he would see a certain Sternritter. As the Sternritter would say this, "Oh, so you're here," she would say. As he would look towards the voice, as you would see, being that of Best Girl. Yes, I consider her Best Girl, just because I feel bad for her to be forced to deal with a certain bastard. You can probably guess who it is. Yes, the one that controlled her with his, you know, his shrift, the love. I still hate him. As she would say this. So, you're here, she would say. As after saying that, she would say this. Well then, guess I'll have to fight you. As she would activate her Vollständig, aka one of my favorite things currently, and I'm probably gonna make a what if about Izuku being a Sternritter. Maybe. I'm still working out the idea for it. As when she activated the Vollständig, she would activate Sklaverei in an instant as well. After doing so, she would activate her true form of her Vollständig, known as Punipura, no, also meaning the power of God. After activating Vollständig, she would charge towards Izuku, as Izuku would say this. As he would grab onto his Zanpakuto, as he would say, "Come forth, Murcielago." After summoning Murcielago, aka one of my favorite named Zanpakuto names, as he would fire off a Sero. After doing so, she would try to dodge the attack because if you remember, every single one of the Quincy are pretty much in danger of getting attacked by by a hollow. If you don't remember, all hollows are pretty much effective against them, as do they in turn with the hollows. After doing so, she would dodge it away as she would start using her dumbbell duster, which are basically like dumbbells, as she would start using them similarly to, I guess you can say, brass knuckles. Doing so, she would start punching at Izuku. Izuku would obviously not feel it as he would slice at her. She would dodge out of the way as she would start using dumbbell duster, the baton beats. As the dumbbells would start transforming into basically like, batons, lengthening the handle and having a much more, well, it kind of resembles a mace in a way, as after doing so, she would start getting ready to attack, as she would slam both of the batons onto his face, as Izuku would just, feel some of the pain but ignores it. Doing so, he would say, "You gone stronger. Guess I'll just have to use this then." As before he can actually activate whatever he was about to do, something would start to happen. As a person would come out of the shadows, as the person would be some sort of man thing. It doesn't look like a hollow or a Sternritter or whatever, but instead looks like something that you would see in a dream. It resembles that of a man with horns and a winged halo, almost similar to a... I'm probably going to say it wrongly, but I think or at least the way you're supposed to say it is Heiligschlein, which is basically the halo thing that most Sternritter would have when they're in their Vollständig. As the man would also wield some sort of staff that resembles that of a pitchfork, with a somewhat holy theme, as he would raise up the large looking staff, or pitchfork, as a portal would start appearing around most of the Sternritter and Izuku, as the portal would consume all of them and they would disappear from the battlefield. And after that, this is where we're gonna be ending off this episode. Sorry guys. So I'm gonna be making another episode of this later on. Anyway, so yeah. So, bye-bye!